Well, good Saturday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally, and I mean literally, does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up to football, guys. It is early. It is only 6:30 here this morning, but I've got a lot to do. I got to get the truck inspected. I've got to go to Home Depot and pick up some wood and check on the prices, see if the lumber went down some, because we've been letting you guys know about the prices of materials and things and ways to save money on my other channel, Joe Boo's Day Job, because it's all, nobody ever wants to pay more than they have to. And then I got to pick up carpet for the house we're working on down the country, because I'll be down there Monday. But today, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Time is slipping into the future. And it's already, wow, it is the 10th of July, and this is day number 2 of the CSA show. Tomorrow is the big day. I hope if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan in the Washington metro area, I've seen people come as far as from New York and North Carolina and stuff to the show. This usually is one of the biggest shows on the East Coast. The last one they had about 2 months ago, of course, there was no autograph signing. All the vendors and things were there, which was great. You know, I got actually this piece right here. This is a piece that we'll probably end up giving away here in the near future as the season gets here. And there are no autographs, which is kind of a bummer, a buzzkill. Typically, you would have tons and tons of Dallas Cowboys players there, current and legends and things. I mean, I've seen Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin, you know. I've gotten Dak like 4 years in a row, and so on. But this year, it's just going to be senior Dallas Cowboy players. We got, you know, Drew Pearson, who's going to the Hall of Fame. We're going to get his autograph here on the Football Gods, and we're going to get a couple of T-shirts that are signed that we'll give away. In fact, my man Cowboys Up North asked me about getting an autograph of Drew Pearson, so I'm going to get something for him as well. And Tony Hill, Butch Johnson, Tony Dorsett, and, of course, Randy White. So we've got 5 great Dallas Cowboys greats, you know, cornerstone pieces. So we'll be there tomorrow, and hopefully I'll see some of you guys. An interesting thing that happened yesterday, and it brings into question quite a lot of things in my mind. Yesterday on my way home, I was thinking about Deshaun Watson. And I'm not saying Deshaun Watson is innocent or guilty or anything else. That's not up to me to decide. But there's been so many allegations of things that have happened. And I think back to the investigation that they did for over a year of Zeke Elliott, where they came up with an over 200-page report on everything that was contradictory to everything. Both ways. I mean, there was a lot of evidence that kind of said, not sure what happened here. Not sure. Nothing that the police could charge with or the DA or anything. Yet Zeke Elliott, they read him the riot act. He was suspended for 6 games and so on. Rightly or wrongly. Again, I'm not the court. I'm not the judge and the jury. I'm just using that because that was kind of the standard of what the NFL was going to do. And here you had Deshaun Watson, and the NFL hasn't even had a conversation with him yet. And it's looking like he's settling out of court and so on, but nothing. Yesterday, Kansas City's defensive end, Frank Clark ends up getting charged now with felony possession of illegal arms in California. Now, you heard that he was arrested a couple weeks ago about it, but these aren't the charges from that incident. These are charges from the March 18th. So this happened in March, and then it happened last month. So these are 2. Now, with this being a felony charge, he faces up to 3 years in prison. Okay, now, I don't think, I mean, that's the maximum, you know, and people will always throw out the maximum. You could be going, very rarely does anybody ever get the maximum. More than likely, it'll be a big-ass fine and probation or something like that. However, here's the problem. The problem is More so, I would say the second case, because, okay, maybe you didn't know that that was illegal. Okay, there's plausible deniability on that situation, right? You get arrested and get it taken away, and then 2 months later, it happens again. The judge looks at that and says, there's a pattern here. That'll be the one that'll be more of a problematic problem for Frank Clark. And again, how the court system handles that, you're innocent until proven guilty. And I'm not saying he's guilty of anything. It could have been a setup. However, it's kind of strange because last night I was doing my live stream and I was thinking, this has been the quietest offseason that the Dallas Cowboys have had as long as I've been doing Facebook and YouTube. Every year we always had some kind of drama between, a contract negotiation that was ugly and holdouts, Zeke Elliott in Cabo or Zeke, in Las Vegas. Think about this. Zeke Elliott gave a guy a flipper after he said something to him. We all know he said something to Zeke that's because Zeke was low-key faded. And he gave him a flipper. And the TMZs, the NFL, and everything, we were sitting here like, we were holding our breath and wondering if that flipper was going to be a suspension for Zeke. We had Tyrone Crawford, who was in a bar, and I can't tell you that I'm not going to say that Tyrone Crawford was guilty of anything from anything. It looked like the bouncers were more aggressive than, of course, Tyrone Crawford. Tyrone Crawford looked like he was actually defending himself. And I'm not trying to defend Tyrone Crawford or the situation and all that. I wasn't there. But I'm looking at some of the things that have gone on and the perception that we have. Everybody always looks at the Cowboys and everything is so blown up that we look at it and say, oh, the Cowboys are lawless. But when you start looking at the list of things that have happened in Kansas City with some of the players between domestic violence as well as other things, you start looking at this and it seems like none of it ever amounts to anything. Domestic violence, players that had been, Frank Clark had a domestic violence situation that from college as well. Now you add to this the gun charges and things, and you look at it and say, well, is this the culture in Kansas City? You had a coach drunk driving and killed somebody. That was right there before the Super Bowl. Could you imagine if these things were going on with the Dallas Cowboys right now? It's hard this offseason because we don't have the when will Zeke come in or the Zeke who. Will the NFL suspend Zeke for a flipper? When will DeMarcus Lawrence get his shoulder worked on? Will they get him signed to a long deal? Will they get Dak Prescott under contract? Will they let Dak walk? We don't have any of that stuff this year to talk about. This offseason going into season, we don't have anybody under investigation. We don't have Randy Gregory trying to be reinstated or will he be suspended by the NFL? We got nothing. And that might be the best news that we have. Now, again, if you're Kansas City, you're looking and saying, how's this going to play out with Frank Clark? I don't know. But this is one of those cases where you can definitely see things aren't equal when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. That the Dallas Cowboys are graded on a different scale than everybody else. All right, y'all, I got a lot to do before this afternoon. Definitely check in. I am going to become troller-in-chief today. I'm definitely going to hopefully not get arrested. Hopefully you won't be reading about a YouTuber that has trolled a couple of Eagle players today. But you know what? It's all in fun. It's all in fun in bringing you guys the best content. I'm Mark Holmes, and
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
And the only thing else I got to say is